activated it?
We did.
Oh, wait, I'll do
Sorry
this.
for all the inappropriate stuff we may have said there. I kicked it live, and I guess Martin didn't realize it, and then we went and said things.
People
Oh.
just didn't want to hear my singing.
They
Oh.
did.
I'll set this up so that way you can see my beautiful face
Hey,
the entire show.
I'm getting fatter and fatter. I really gotta. Diet starts tomorrow.
I thought you were talking to me.
Nope.
You're
Oh, you
getting
look good.
fatter and fatter. Mr. Lee.
Oh, Mr. Lee, introduce us.
Hello and welcome to the Comic Shop Does a Podcast with me, your old friend, Aaron Lee.
Oh, and me, your even older friend, Evan Coy, and we're here with a very special guest.
Whatever was on there last week because we're ill prepared.
No, it just says oldest. Because he's old.
I'm old.
I'm older, and you're the oldest. It's just how it's going down in the streets. No, I'm not fat with a PH. I'm fat with a big fat F.
Oh, God.
Big
But he
fat.
also ran like 28 miles, so like,
Did he run?
Physical fatness.
wow. Reminds me of my newest hit character, Peak Fizz, the mascot for my fake Mountain Dew character, Peak Fizz.
Peak fizz.
This episode brought to you by Peak Fizz, a.k.a. Fake Mountain Dew.
Oh, gosh.
It's the lows of fake Mountain Dew.
It's the lows of fake Mountain Dew. And that would be a fun thing to do, to make fake ads.
Oh.
I so old. What's that sound?
I don't know. Martin's doing something weird.
Oh, I don't get to see things live, so
he
everyone
doing-
has to listen to my commercial
He's
as I
doing
go
a,
in.
It sounds like he's running a vacuum
Welcome
over
to
there.
a very apathetic podcast.
Apathetic? Empathetic. We really
please
care
don't do
about your
that.
feelings.
Please don't do that.
We've got our one
I
believer.
just forgot to turn it down.
Before we get into, we're going to talk 1998, a year in review.
It's all about years now. At first it was
Do we wanna
2022, now we're
address
like
the-
1998.
That article first?
Yes.
We're just going to get really negative because that's what we do here. And there was an
Well-
article that was brought in by a customer that was very disappointing to me. It was, huh? I don't know.
Where is the phone?
Oh, is there? Oh, I thought I walked outside and it turned off. Well, what a mess. All right.
I'm back.
HOTMESS. What's that spell?
Hot
I don't know.
mess.
Hot mess.
Spelling's hard.
Article that came out. Customer dropped it off. Martin and I were super disappointed about it. You can hold it up if you want. Go Woke, Go Broke, written by John Stossel, who I get all of my comic information from. Notable idiot, John Stossel. And it was basically a article that had zero research.
Zero.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It was
none.
incredibly ignorant, offensive, stupid.
misleading.
misleading.
Purposely vague.
Yeah.
No context for anything
Why do research when you can just make incendiary comments?
to fuel a fan base.
Wait, Martin,
Right.
do you want to sum it up or?
Basically, the title of the article is "Go Woke, Go Broke," and it's attacking more progressive elements that have been introduced over the last few years in comics, allegedly, saying that the reason why DC and Marvel aren't seeing the success they should is because they have this inclusive content.
Really, just the whole thing shills for a gentleman.
Don't even say his name.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Okay. I'm going to consider myself somewhat of a comics expert. And honestly, I'm probably the least knowledgeable comics person in the room. I think that Aaron and Martin know vastly more about comics and creators. And I mean, I can hang in there. But basically, this whole article shills for someone who I don't think has ever produced a comic in their life. They did some kind of crowdfunding thing where they made a bunch of money under the guise of we hate woke stuff. And I don't know. I don't think that they've really done anything. Yes, there are different characters. There are different variants of characters that have come out over the course of the past umpteen years, and variety is great. Of like,
Yeah.
there's nothing wrong with that, and it doesn't take away from the previous stories that have been told. If anything, it gives other people entry points to come into the world of comics and feel like they're a
Yes.
part of something and identify with a character who's more like them.
Representation is important.
And have the companies done this perfectly and well with all aspects? Definitely not.
No,
But
I mean they've made
there's stumbles
mistakes
and
and things
mistakes,
like that. There are
which is
certain
what they're
things-
known to do anyway.
Right.
Yeah. But basically, the article again talks about the decline of Marvel and DC and the rise of things like anime and manga filling that void. And if you don't know how progressive manga is, you're you're not paying attention at all
Yikes! Yeah.
to what's going on.
And that the fact that manga has been outpacing American graphic novels and the such since
like Viz,
Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z days.
Viz is the biggest
Yep.
publisher of comics in the United States.
Get that the
Period.
microphone more in your face, please.
More in the face.
Yeah, we want to block more.
Yeah, like they are the biggest publisher, and I mean, I teach in a middle school. I see what kids are reading. LGBTQ characters are all over the books that the kids are reading. So if you think that Marvel and DC also having those characters is why they're not doing well, that's such a weird statement to make.
Mhm.
It's like this is successful because of, like, you don't even understand why it's successful.
Yep.
It's just wild to me. Like, you look at there was a webtoon, a manga series that just got turned into a TV show that was LGBTQ. I can't remember, but one of my students was very, very excited about it. Like, it's just that the demographics are changing.
I don't know. It's a very ignorant, ill-informed article with zero research by John Stossel.
Claiming a book that lasted 18 issues is not a successful book. Where in the market for the last 2 decades, if you're getting to 18, you're lucky. It's also, this book is not canceled at 18. It's relaunched at 18. As we all know, the comic companies like their number ones.
By the way, yeah, they're canceling Hulk at 14. That's officially over.
Okay.
So, the Incredible Hulk, which is just a big, giant, punchy green man in outer space fighting, and it's all white guys, got canceled at issue 14. So a bigger failure than Superman, Son of Kal-El, and should be noted as such. Whatever.
Is there anything else from the Bleeding Cool?
No,
responses you
I
want?
kind of the Bleeding Cool, which for those of you who don't know what Bleeding Cool is, Gentile Fan Club. John Stossel, oddly enough, looks like a rip-off comic book villain. He really does. What a creep. But Bleeding Cool, which is a comic book rumor website, they did a very intelligent retort to this article. And sometimes I feel like Bleeding Cool is a little cringy, but I think they did a very good job with this.
The thing that bugs me is comics is such a small industry to begin with. Like what do you hope to gain by punching at somebody else?
Yeah.
I mean, that whole strategy to me just seems so weird. Like, if you're part of a community, wouldn't you want to build everybody up in that community so everybody does well? And that's a philosophy I have. When everybody does better, everybody does better. So like, why can't you be why they can make their comics with their white guys, white muscle guys? Yeah, let's do it. But you don't need to do that at the expense of the efforts of other people. Because, I mean, if you look at, Marvel is a reaction to the stuff that DC was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Everything is a reaction to everything else. It's always been a progression, and really, all this stuff was stunted in the 1950s with Jason Statham, right? When Jason Statham came in and said, "Hey, these comics are going a little too crazy with the horror and the war," and everybody was like, "Okay, let's have a Senate committee that's led by Jason Statham." No one's going to fact check me on that.
No.
No.
So it's
We're letting it go.
It's definitely Jason Statham
It was definitely Jason Statham.
who did the
Prior
the
to his-
Senate-
Not
acting
Antonio
movies.
Banderas.
Prior to his acting career.
Yeah. It
Yeah.
wasn't Antonio Banderas.
Yeah, and when that came in and like all the things that comics were allowed to do were really restricted, then the Undergrounds came out and they did absolutely everything that they wanted to do, like with no limits at all. And then it's kind of been progressing in different ways since then. And the other thing that's like that the market should guide absolutely everything. Like everything that someone does has to react to a market. If that's not art.
No.
Look at Wesley the Robot. No
Yeah.
market. No.
That's
Horrible
no.
example.
You know what? Just
Little market.
create your art.
Yep.
Put your product out there. And if you're complaining about the variants of Superman and Batman, Robin is gay and Superman's son's bisexual.
These derivative characters, yes.
Yeah.
One of 3 Robins.
Yeah, these are all fake characters that are. I don't know.
It's
just
it's like the Bert and Ernie thing where it's like they don't exist below the waist. Like, why are you so weirded out about it? Do you remember that? The Bert and Ernie scandal?
No, what did Jason Statham say about them?
He said he didn't like that they lived together. He thought
they
it
were-
was weird, Jason Statham.
Is our audio okay? I feel like everything is really weird on this tonight.
I feel like it's pretty echoey. I don't know if am I being picked up on this thing?
I have no idea.
I hear lots of room.
There's a lot of room, yes, but I don't. There's something with the board and all the levels look fine on the thing. Whatever. You sound okay to me. Thank you.
If we were in an airplane, I feel like Evan's like the main pilot, and he's like, "There's tons of turbulence. I don't know if the engines are gonna run. The wing is barely hanging on," and I'm just like, "Hey."
I positioned myself in front of that monitor earlier, and yes, I can say the plane is going down.
I mean, it looks all the little volume things look fine, but it just sounds really a lot of room. Like you said, there's a lot of headspace here. But whatever.
It's all right. We can. It's got a
Is
it's
this
got a
mic
warm
on
buzz
over here.
Huh?
Is that mic on over there?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Oh, that's
It is.
That's a hot mic.
Why is that on?
Maybe. Ooh. Yeah. I don't think this one's on. I think the other one is picking me up. Welcome to the troubleshooting hour with microphones 1 and 2. Oh, is this one on? No, that's not on.
What are you on? Purple? Purple's on. Blue is on. Martin, say something.
Hi, how's it going, guys?
I have no idea. We're just gonna leave everything on. We're just gonna leave.
We have some important comments to read here from our two believers. The first is Teresa. Oh, hey,
Hey,
wow,
okay, all right.
That's a
Whoa.
lot of audio. Hey, so Teresa Helene says, "Don't you know that representation of humankind is wrong?"
I don't like humans.
Well,
I agree with her completely.
it depends on
All right, I think we're good now. Okay, this makes
depends
much
on the
more sense.
human. What on a case by case basis, they can be fine.
Martin, say something real quick.
Hi.
Oh, why do you not sound good still?
Can we just swing this one around? No, I guess not.
All right, we're just putting all the mics on again. I
I
don't know. This is what happens when if there are people here to the last minute and I just don't get to sit down in front of the board, like because everything always changes. Whatever. I think we're fine now. I think it sounds better. Martin, I hear you now. So
It's like
I'm
having
heard.
it's like having a jellyfish run all of the microphones, and it's just like slowly undulating and disconnecting and reconnecting.
you'd think we'd get better at this over time.
Everybody complains about this. I watched Kevin Smith's live stream, and he has a guy dedicated just to cleaning up the stream and running it. It goes wrong and things break.
You know
all the
that
time.
guy's me, right?
You also do that?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Martin, talk to us
That's
about
not even the right font.
talk to us about 1998.
What did you do?
I don't know. Nobody. They told me.
I couldn't find the subject line anywhere, and the older and old is really not a good font.
No,
but
it's terrible. It's
you've-
terrible. Well, we didn't have time
You've
to
messed
look
up
at it.
everything I did 16 months ago.
Oh, we're gonna
I'm
talk
going to
about
storm out angrily now.
we're gonna talk about 1998. What happened in 1998?
Nothing.
No, nothing. We actually wanted to do 2003.
Nothing happened.
Nothing happened in 2003.
What a bomb of a year.
All right, I feel like 17 minutes in, everything's working now, so that's good.
Nothing's working.
Yeah.
It's all bluey.
I don't know.
Let me tell you a little something about a little something special going on in my neck of the woods today.
In 1998?
No, not
Okay,
1998.
we're stepping back from 98 again.
Okay, good.
Oh, okay, yeah, we're gonna go
We'll
away.
never actually address.
But yeah, we'll get there.
We will not.
No,
but,
we won't. I think it's already over.
My buddy who looks kind of like this.
That's Lucy.
No, this is Tootsie.
No.
She's got a big fluffy
She looks
tail.
older than the last time I saw her.
Older?
Yeah, like maybe a year older.
Yeah, she's 3 years old
When?
today.
Today's
it
her
today?
birthday?
Today is Tootsie's birthday.
It's also my sister's birthday, but she's like 42. Unless you read my statements later on Facebook, in which she will be 53.
Goodness.
Happy so everybody out there, just say happy birthday to Tootsie.
So it's both of your daughter's birthdays within like 4 days of one another?
Yep.
Plus his birthday was this week.
December 31st. Is that within the week?
I don't
It
know.
is.
That's
It is,
math.
isn't it?
It's a
Wow.
comic shop. We don't do math.
Yeah. Well, it's just like after my birthday, I just feel like I'm like worlds and worlds away from my own birthday.
And then there's your wife's birthday, which is,
Around this, well, it always prevents me from coming to the comic book sale.
yep, way out in October.
1998. Let's talk about it. What happened in 1998?
So what happened to me this week is that
You've been stossled.
lots of stuff happened.
Oh,
Come
Sean
on.
Sean Chen was on Iron Man in '98, huh?
Do you
Look
want
at
a
that.
quote on the state of the comic sales to start it off?
Yeah, sure.
A year that turned out to be a big loser.
Oh,
Soft sales start, a bit of a lift mid-year, then all hope was lost in October. November and December tried, but the year closed down considerably. So it was a great year for comics.
1998, I would have been 16, turning 17. And I feel like
I want to break this song right there.
going on 17, telling women what to do. What, that song's really bad, isn't it?
Telling women what to do.
This I'm 16 going on 7.
Older and wiser. I don't know.
I feel like it's very Andrew Tate-ish, where like it's the older guy telling the young woman like I'll tell you what to do type thing. I think the lyrics are very cringy if you look into it. I could be wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. It doesn't really matter.
Next, or 2 weeks from now on the podcast, we'll be doing The Sound of Music, Drug Through the Mud.
Oh boy.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, 98, 16 going on 17. Really,
Magical things happening.
Really, I feel like we got a bunch of Wizard magazines here. Wizard: The Guide to Comics was kind of the pre-internet Bible for all things comics and comic book related. But this was a point in time where like Image was in full swing. They had been established for several years. The new wave of Marvel creators is jumping ship to do cliffhanger type stuff. It also at an Image imprint. Jim Lee has left for DC.
Market in decline. Bubble has burst.
Bub-
Speculators have run away.
Yeah, just a very interesting time to be in.
Very transitional.
Yeah. I mean, it reminds me maybe of the past few years, all the wacky
yep.
things that have changed in the past few years that, you know, again, we went back to look at 2003 and nothing happened
Nothing
in
happened that year.
2003.
It was pretty much.
But 1998, you've got these, you know, the bankruptcies, Toy Biz coming in and buying Marvel, which I did no
That's
research
wild,
on.
yeah.
It's always
That's when Avi Arad comes into the picture.
Avi Arad, criminal. I
He
still
is?
want no. I
No.
just he's a name that comes up all the time with all of these things, comics related, and I still don't know much about him.
those
He's just
those years from the 1998, so you got to go back at least 1995 through
I would say 95.
2005. I think is an extremely interesting period of behind the scenes stuff and a whole bunch of corporate drama where the poor comic books suffered at the hands of profiteering and really, really poor decision making.
yeah. The fact that like
Corporate level.
Carl Icahn, I was talking about him before. Somebody from Princeton who used to shop at the Wegmans down there before he died. I worked there. You know, billionaire.
While he died, he was still shopping there.
You know, he's getting involved in things. And the fact that Toy Biz
Which was a Marvel subsidiary. I still don't know how that works.
was a company that I thought Marvel had owned
Yeah.
turns around to buy Marvel, and I was like, what? Like, and I guess maybe that's why Todd McFarlane was going into toys. That as the comic market declines, there was this big opportunity with the toy market, and again, the toy market ends up buying out the comic market, which is so weird to me. I don't know.
Diversify. When you make all that comic money, you got to put it in some other stuff.
When we were doing the 30th anniversary, I was really shocked at how much toy sales we actually had back then, and just all the range. Everything had a toy. Every little independent comic company was having their characters turned into plastic, and people really wanted it. So
Here's something that happened in 1998 that we should put on the document. Ken,
Oh,
if you don't
yeah.
mind. Baron Zemo did a milk ad.
That's Peter David.
Peter
drawing
David.
it.
I hope
Oh
Peter David.
wow. It's a parody though.
There's a little bit of glare on there.
Everybody thinks trying to rule the world is easy, but it takes a lot of energy.
Tilt it up a little bit, please.
It takes a lot of energy.
values.
The
Oh.
one useful secret my Masters of Evil beat out Jarvis when we trashed Avengers Mansion is that milk does a body good. I can't force you to drink milk, so it's up to you to get what your body needs. Well, if that wench Moonstone hadn't turned against me, my Thunderbolts and I would have forced you. But maybe next time. Milk.
Ooh, dated.
Here's a very speaking of dated. Here's some stuff that Aaron. I don't know. None of this has any interest to me. I think that a lot of these products are very hacky. But
Oh,
what's that in the bottom corner?
What
there?
is that?
this is something that I recently got for my birthday.
Actually, it's beautiful.
From who?
From my special little lady at home.
And why don't you share how much that was back then?
A concrete bust. How much was it back then? Oh, $50. Well, that's a steal.
So,
at that price.
So, Aaron's wife, if you're listening, you could have saved yourself a little bit of money had at 10 years old you just bought this and put it away in storage. I don't know.
For your future
For
husband.
future husband. Put it in your hook chest or whatever.
Oh, is that why we're doing 1998? Is because that thing that I got is from
No, that was
1998?
No,
no.
sheer coincidence. I was just
Yeah.
flipping through Wizards.
That was like the
and I
19th
saw
wizard
that.
he was going through, and he's like,
This is a
great."
wonderful little statue. It's really great detail based on Paul Shadwick's Concrete. Great bookend because this thing is heavy. You can put it right next to some books and bookend them up.
Did you get 2? Because that'd make perfect at bookend.
I have been looking into it. It's a little bit more than $50 now. But wow, look at all these toys. Nostalgia. It's a hell of a drug.
Drugs.
Martin, what were some of the comic stories going on in 1998?
Well, do we
Amalgam?
want to talk about Marvel Knights?
Yeah.
We could do that.
So in 1996-ish, Marvel did something called Heroes Reborn, in which they farmed out a bunch of their characters to the Image guys because Marvel couldn't do anything with these characters, no matter how much they tried. So that was a success. So they decided to do it again with going to Event Comics this time with Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti.
Which in one of these Wizards, it's called Event Horizon or something like
Which is
that.
a way better.
It predates the dark. Where is it? Just going Marvel
Marvel
Knights.
movie?
Thank you,
Oh.
Marvel Knights. There was. I guess I didn't realize what a big deal Event Comics was.
I don't remember it being a bit. I mean, it literally had Ash and
the woman who we're already forgetting.
yeah, I forgot her name again. Wow.
Do you remember? Do you remember Event Comics at all? They did Ash. She was the firefighter
Winona
superhero.
Earp or-
I don't know if I knew it at the I might have seen Ash
See?
and been kind of like, what is Ash? I
What?
think I saw an ad for it, but I never saw an Ash comic ever.
And then there was the Bad Girl comic that's name is escaping us.
Painkiller Jane.
Yep.
Because it was
thank
turned
you.
That's what it was.
turned into
Thank you.
it was turned into a TV,
TV
show.
series, yep.
That's I think why
Multiple
I know what it
seasons,
is.
too.
Yeah. That's
Um,
wild.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
What was that on?
I think it was syndicated, wasn't it?
I don't know.
It was in the era of syndication. Like, do you remember like Mutant X and all
All
that
that stuff,
stuff?
yeah.
I
Okay.
think it floated around wherever they could get on a network.
So basically, Marvel had some loser characters they wanted to be reinvigorated. Daredevil, Black Panther, The Inhumans, and Punisher were, I believe, the 4 that launched first. Didn't do tremendously well in the sales charts either. It was I was kind of shocked when I looked there that it was none of those books hit number. I think even the top 5. I can't remember what I said Daredevil was the other day, but
I got the first Daredevil one from PNC.
PNC
Off their comic rack here in Oswego.
not sponsored because.
Well, they're not there
Yep.
anymore.
Yeah, 2 of the series in particular, Black Panther and Inhumans, were kind of almost defining runs on
The
for
character?
the characters.
Yeah.
With lots of the stuff that you're seeing in the Black Panther films is taken right from there. The importance of Wakanda, it not just being like the weird city. There's actual politics. There's
The importance of being earnest.
yes, Ernest.
And the art is
The most
phenomenal.
the most pretentious earnest.
The Mark Texiera artwork in that thing is so nuts.
If you've never read the Marvel Knights and Humans, I absolutely 1000%
Yeah.
recommend that you read it.
That's what made me a fan of those characters.
It's brilliant writing, gorgeous art. Where I think Jay Lee
Lee.
came into his own then. I
Yep.
think that
Yep.
was where his style went from his Namor
Namor, the middle
Submariner
nipples.
craziness to
What about Namor's nipples?
In the Jay Lee Namor, the Savage Submariner Namor, the nipples were on the center of the pectorals as a stylistic choice.
yes.
It's just truth.
Take a titty out, Namor.
Take 2.
I'm going to read actually a little bit in this wizard for a few seconds, if that's all right.
Yeah, then I want to move on to Punisher.
This is not Heroes Reborn all over again, says Cheryl Rhodes, Marvel Comics executive vice producer of publishing. This Rhodes refers to a deal between Event Comics and Marvel, under which Event co-founders Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti will produce 4 monthly Marvel books, Daredevil, Inhumans, Black Panthers, and a miniseries. Event will hire the writers, artists, colorers, letterers to work on-site at Marvel's offices. Am I supposed to go to something else?
I just found
Oh,
this in
okay.
there.
Yeah, don't exploit those wizards too heavily. We need them later. for
Effectively,
content.
Joe Quesada and Jimmy Palmiotti will effectively act as editors, but still work hand in hand with existing editorial staff, according to Quesada. Quesada and Palmiotti will also handle artistic duties on Daredevil. The only current Marvel title affected it will be joined by Clerks and Chasing Amy screenwriter Kelvin Smith.
I love Kelvin Smith.
Kelvin Smythe.
The contract runs for 1 year and can be extended by both parties. Whatever.
Now, was it extended?
Had to be.
Yes,
Well, yeah, it was definitely
Because, I mean, he became editor-in-chief eventually.
Yeah, it's funny they're talking about how they're going to be working with editorial, and the existing Marvel group hated them, was resentful of them
Because they
and-
kind of just got to come in and...
Yep,
yeah.
swoop in. It was not amicable at all. But I think it worked out for Joe Quesada, at least in the end.
The rest of the team consists of writer Paul Jenkins and artist Jay Lee on Inhumans, writer Christopher Priest, and artist Mark Teixeira. I don't know. I always confuse him and the baseball
I think
player.
it's Texera.
Teixeira
I think so.
on Black Panther, and writer is Christopher Golden and Tom... Oh, boy. How do you pronounce that guy? Snigoski, and artist Bernie Wrightson.
Yeah.
Bernie Wrightson on The Punisher.
Even horror legend Bernie Wrightson's artwork couldn't make Angel Punisher and his weird spiky guns not look completely silly.
Horror master Bernie Wrightson, see sidebar, hasn't done extensive work for Marvel since 1991, but Palmiotti has inked his work on several Chaos Comics projects, and the two are quite chummy. Marvel
Like
might not be able to get
sharks?
Wrightson in the fold, but Palmiotti can deliver him another advantage. Wow, that's interesting. Huh.
Yes, Punisher was a major misstep for this line. They decided to have Frank Castle dead himself, and become this angel-y agent of vengeance.
Is that the worst iteration of Punisher ever?
Yes, because
Yeah.
someone even says, let me see if I can find the quote.
Is it the worst though? I think I can think of one that's worse.
Frankenstein?
Nope.
Angel Punisher isn't a completely unusable idea. As a fan of Frankencastle, I'd be a hypocrite for suggesting such a thing. If Ennis felt like it, I'm sure he could have come up with a way to make it work. Remender and Ostrander could have made it work. Here, though, there's nothing that redeems such a bonehead concept.
What's the worst version of Punisher?
No, there was one. Where he had,
Oh!
Yeah. Okay. Very good. There's a Punisher from the late 80s, early 90s.
I think you're right. Late '80s, early '90s. Because I
And,
think I had a couple of them.
He got a tan, right?
He got a
A cosmetic tan.
Yeah, he kind of changed color.
He did Tropic Thunder.
He did a Tropic Thunder.
He pulled a Lois Lane.
I forgot about that. And Aaron, that was so obvious. I'm like, what is he thinking of? What is he? Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But we all came up with it.
Yep.
So,
Yep. I didn't have to go too hard on that.
one of the funny things I saw for Punisher was later, while a member of the Thunderbolts, the Punisher is healed by an angel's feather after being fatally wounded. When Deadpool asks why the feather was drawn to him, the Punisher snaps, "I don't want to talk about it."
That's pretty good.
It is. Considering it was like probably 3 years ago.
Oh boy.
An angel's feather.
So yeah, so Marvel Knights concept greatly impacted the comic industry. It set up the Marvel leadership for the next decade.
Yeah, I mean,
remember
Quesada
how
was
long-
there
for
for
a while-
quite a
long
while.
Well, he only recently left.
Because he had a very nebulous role, though. I don't think his role in the past few years is very
Was
clearly
his- yeah.
defined.
He just kind of like creative.
Do it again.
There we go. Did I miss it?
Yeah,
It was like just
well.
chief creative officer. Was that his role?
Something. Yeah.
Head potato.
Chief
Bon-
cigar
Bonjour,
hater.
Monsieur Potato.
Aaron, what are you reading?
I'm reading about Archie Goodwin, who passed away in 1988. Archie Goodwin, for those who don't know, very well-respected writer and editor whose career spanned through the War and Horror magazines to Marvel and DC. Known for nurturing a lot of new talent that has since been veteran talent. Some of the talent that he nurtured is even retired at this point. But he's a figure in comics that as much as I've heard about him and read about him, there's nobody who says anything negative.
Yeah, I think
About him.
I think he's one of those guys that's just universally loved.
Yes.
and yeah, he was a big creator guy. I think he was. We were talking about this. I don't know a ton about him, but it seems like he was a big creator guy. Was able to push back on some editorial things when it didn't feel right, and cultivated a great base of up and coming talent.
Well, I can read some career highlights from here.
Yeah, it'd be
He's
good.
the editor-in-chief at Warren Publications from 1965 to 1974, nearly a decade. Editor-in-chief, Marvel Comics, 1976 to 1977. I think that's an era where there was a new editor-in-chief like every
Every
year.
other day, yeah. It
Yeah.
was bad.
Founder and editor-in-chief, Epic Illustrated and Epic Comics, 1982 to 1990. Highly influential, a lot of really good stuff.
Creator owned or creator
Yeah, well, at least partially
yeah.
creator-owned. One of the, well, not one of the first, but certainly one of the biggest.
Yeah.
That the fact that Marvel was even willing to do that at that point is huge. I think, do they still do Icon much?
I don't think so.
Yeah. No. Yeah, but
I have
They don't do Marvel Knights. They don't do Max. It's kind of
yeah. Group editor, DC Comics, 1990 to 1998. Writer of Star Wars newspaper strip, 1981 to 84. Writer of Marvel Star Wars comic, most issues between 11 and 44.
I think he was instrumental in getting that license too. Where
You're probably right.
I'm pretty sure that there was no one wanted it, and he's like, let's go for it type deal.
Writer of the critically acclaimed Manhunter backup story in Detective Comics from 437 to 443. I believe that was drawn by Walter Simonson.
I'm not sure, but we'll go with it.
I think so.
Fact check Fraser.
definitely drawn by Walter Simon.
I think-
Walter and Louise.
I think he was one of the people who brought Walter Simonson into
To-
comics.
Was
I mean,
he?
he was already doing comics, but into Marvel DC
uh,
comics. He was already doing what was it? Space Thumpers,
Yeah.
Space Hammers, Star Jumpers,
I don't know that
Star
one.
Smashers.
Okay,
All of them. I
we'll
think
go
I've
with
seen
it.
all of
That
them.
was all of them.
Yeah. I mean,
And what things did he draw at Marvel that were?
Star Slammers. What
What things
things he draw at Marvel?
Yeah, yeah.
I think he did Harvard the Foul.
Wait, did he do Thor at all?
No.
No Thor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, absolutely not.
No Thor, no FF.
Definitely never did any of that. Never did any X Factor either.
I was just gonna bring up. He's my second favorite Thor artist after you.
Oh, after me? That's high praise. I think we have to do a what do they call it? An eclipse? An encore?
Callback.
A callback. Why not?
The sequel.
Martin, what else do you have?
Oh, that's not dark.
Do we have anything else?
I don't know. We got Spider-Man Identity Crisis,
Oh yeah, I
which
remember.
took me a solid day and a half to even remember what it was.
What was it?
This
Because that was tied into, which I got it wrong. It was Slingers, and I wanted to say
not-
Stingers.
which
that's
is almost the better. Oh, I guess either way you could go. Yeah.
I bought Slingers when it was coming out.
So there was a Spider-Man event called Identity Crisis that ran the spring and summer of '98. Spider-Man was framed by Norman Osborn and the Trapster
What? Pace Pop Pete?
for murder of a small-time crook named Joey Z using web fluid to fill his lungs. So basically,
He's been
Peter
web
Parker had to retire Spider-Man due to the this framing, and he created, for some reason, he created 4 new identities.
Is this just a callback to like Death of Superman,
It almost seems like it.
where we're just going to bring in 4 guys? Because why not?
Two of the characters were personas were Hornet, the other was Prodigy. They posed as heroes.
Prodigy?
Prodigy.
Don't
Prodigy.
change it.
G.
Prodigy.
Prodigy. The other 2, Dusk and Ricochet, pretended to be criminals. It all worked out in the end. He got to retire it, and 4 other people took up these costumes and had a short-lived book called Slingers, which I did enjoy.
Was that a Howard Mackey book?
God, I hope not, because I don't enjoy him at all.
Oh, really? I feel like he had some good stuff in there, here and there.
I feel like he's a terrible man.
Really?
No, I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah, we're going to go with yes.
He did the Ghost Rider, though. It can't be that bad.
So this is shortly before Spider-Man. They relaunched Amazing finally for the first time, which is one of the books that helped prop up November and December.
Who was the team for that?
Was that John Byrne?
Was it JB?
I think it was John Byrne.
It was, because I bought that stuff when
Yeah.
it was coming
So that
out.
was the creative team, John Byrne.
And then Spectacular Spider-Man was Howard Mackey and JR, I believe.
Yeah, they.
JR Jr.?
Yeah, JR.
Okay.
JR cubed. Because that person doesn't exist.
What's that?
Jim Balent? What's what? Ladies? Iggy Pop as Francis Dutton?
I didn't realize he was still on.
Whoa.
Catwoman at the time.
Clint Howard as Gecko. What is this you're showing me here? Oh, this is not what you meant to show me.
No.
Oh, Brendan Fraser. Look at this. He's experiencing a resurgence right now too. Brendan Fraser as Lewis Martin. But this is when they did the
MTech?
M-Tech line with Marvel, where they
Ye-
tried to bring Machine Man.
So
back
this was
into it.
the MTech was 1998 too.
Yeah, because it was a letterer, I believe, who proposed doing the MTech line, and Event Horizon, which became Marvel Knights, were proposed at the same time because they were just open to any ideas to up those flagging sales of the time. Which, I mean, any book would be happy to have the kind of sales from 1998 now.
Was this just they were throwing stuff at the wall to see what sticks, Martin? Because you also have
Probably.
MC2 around this time too. So
Yeah.
you have
Yep.
Marvel Knights, MTech, MC2, which of course Spider Girl, Tom DeFalco. Did Tom DeFalco and Ron Friends do that whole 100-issue run? Do you remember that?
Of Spider-Girl, no. It was Pat O'Leaf, and then Ron Friends took over for him, I believe. I don't know
Okay.
if there's anybody else in there, but I think Ron Lim did all of the J2. I'm not sure who took over A next, but there's Fantastic Five didn't have their own book, did it, Martin? They just
Yeah.
showed up. They did?
Yep.
Yeah, Fantastic Five. And that was a book that tried to recapture like the youth-oriented, like original spirit.
What
of,
was
of
Fantastic
Marvel
Five? I don't
Comics.
remember that one at all.
Wild Thing, the daughter of Elektra.
Elektra
Wolverine.
and Wolverine. Yep.
Also drawn by Ron Lim, I believe.
Ronald Lim.
Maybe.
He does a ton of stuff. I've liked his latest stuff where he's working digitally. I haven't always been the hugest fan of Ron Lim, but I like his latest stuff.
Ron Lim to me is just the quintessential generic 90s guy that like I don't feel like it ever really delivers 100%, but it's at times it has its charm.
He's
But
your
it's very-
fast guy.
What's that?
He's your fast guy, your
Is he,
clutch guy.
yeah, is he just your get it done deadline guy? And again, he's not
he's
a
your
bad
go-
artist. It's
No.
it's just not.
It's I don't know if I've ever watched anything that makes my heart sing,
Yeah,
you know, so to speak. But he's fine. Certainly a successful artist in his own right. He's done tons of stuff. He's done children's books and stuff for Marvel at this point too.
yeah.
Oh yeah. He stays busy.
You want to read some magic words?
Me?
Yeah.
I know how to read.
There's a little letter in here from Stan Lee.
Oh, interesting. All right. Okay. After writing a squintillion soapbox column since the 60s, this is just what I need. A chance to write again. But hey, who can say no to a request from Wizard? So I'll tackle something that may surprise you. Comic books. Some yo-yos are predicting the end of comics because of inroads made by the internet, video games, television, and all the varied forms of interactive media. But that doesn't cut any ice with me. I'm old, so I remember when TV was started. Everyone claimed it was the death knell of books and movies. Who would read anything when they could be entertained by the boob tube? Who'd pay to go
the
to the
boob tube.
Who'd pay to go to the movies when they could watch the stuff at home for free? Well, today the book biz is bigger than ever, and hit movies are no longer pulling in just millions; they're approaching billions. So get with it, doomsayers. Comic books are the most perfect form of entertainment created since the ever-popular you-know-what. And they'll be around as long as people love colorful, exciting, unpredictable, inexpensive, easily portable, highly collectible, perfect blendings of story, art, and wild imagination. Bet on it. And if I'm proven wrong 100 years from now, just let me know. I'll apologize.
No, he'll be dead by then.
Well, if he was alive, he would have turned 100.
He would have. He would have been 100 last week.
Yeah, last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think it's still my profile picture.
Happy birthday, Stanley.
And MTech came out in 1999.
Okay, so there was an
Okay.
ad for it in the 90.
Yes.
Well, it's the Marvel, the X-Men leading into it. The X-Men
Yes.
series
Okay.
leading into it. The Marvel Annual 98 starring Machine Man and Bastion. So they had the jump start of an X-Men book, too, to get them going.
Hmm.
But, yeah,
Didn't help.
we can get into it, but they made some bad choices. They made some bad choices in MTech. I think just by swapping a couple people on those titles, they could have had a much better book. Like if they had done like Pascal Ferry on the art of Machine Man and done Joe Casey as the writer, I think that would have been a very interesting, good book. But anyway,
But I digest.
but yeah, that Machine Man book, the writing was terrible, and well, we all know what happened to Joe Bennett. So
Notable racist Joe Bennett.
Alleged.
well, I mean, did you see the stuff that was in the artwork?
Do you want to talk about this?
What's that? Oh, yeah. This is very interesting.
Oh, whoa.
Aaron, we may have discovered the first sketch cover comic,
Oh yes.
and he's going to dig into this a little bit. We'll
Martin's gonna dig into it.
yes,
I am.
yep, because I can't read that.
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure if it was on the screen yet or not because I don't have a monitor. Might just read this.
Yep.
We like to read.
Just
Tucci to customize covers for fans. What's $5 buy these days? Nothing. Barely a dozen eggs now. How about custom original art? Nothing is exactly what will initially grace the cover to Crusade's She, The Art of War 1998 tour book, a March release priced at $4.95.
I'm sorry. Is it she or shy?
I'm saying she, and I don't care.
Okay, you always thought shy, but go ahead.
It's whatever you want it to be, Evan.
It's she.
Cheese.
The sketchbook, a retrospective work by Billy Tucci, including never-before sketches of Shy. The pencils dating back to the earliest days features a blank cover. The gimmick is this. Tucci, or a Crusade artist of your choice, will draw an original piece of art on the cover when fans bring their copy and purchase a receipt to one of the 10 scheduled nationwide convention and store appearances listed in the book. We asked ourselves, how can we do the book and do something a little more for the fans? At all shows, I love to do sketches for fans, so this seems like a good idea and a good value.
It's amazing. Actually, let's hold that under the camera so people can see that, or just grab. Okay. That was the first potential sketch cover, and the fact that it only cost $5 for you to buy it, and you could get a sketch from him with you bring a receipt, seems very reasonable to me. That, but they make no other reference to sketch covers in the past, so that might be the very first sketch cover. I'm gonna say that as a fact. But
Definitely the first one.
definitely, forever the first one.
Oh, C23. Ugh.
Hey, do you want to see what are the hot creators in 1998?
Is one of them me?
I believe you were about 13, so I'm going to guess not.
I was drawn at least this good. Look at that.
Look at that.
#1 Thor artist of all time, baby.
Give him the tiny hammer.
Tiny hammer.
Hammer, don't hurt him.
Look at this lightning. I'm really stepping up my game here. You watching Marvel? Yeah, baby.
Almost as good as Walter Simonson.
Almost. Oh, it's not 22. It's 23.
Let's see who the hot creators are of 1998.
Finch, Bat. You need to have a one syllable name in order to be popular in this era. Well, David Finch, man, he was doing this stuff in '98. He's still around. He's still doing stuff.
Is Bat still around?
Maybe.
I don't know. I feel like I haven't
They're
seen
both
that.
25.
All these kids are 25, by the way. Every artist that you're going to see is 25 years old. It's wild.
Lionel Francis Yu. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I remember his early stuff.
Oh, he's so good. I still love his stuff.
Yeah. He's gotten a lot better too over time.
I think so. Well, I mean, I think obviously he's always been very talented, but I would agree.
Composition and just body language and it's just backgrounds, just everything. And he got put through the pressure cooker too, and he was on X-Men too because they gave him like no time to turn books around.
Yeah.
And he still got it done. So a lot of respect for that guy, Leonardo Manco.
Who's that?
You don't know him?
I don't.
He did some Wolverine one shots or something back in the day, and that's how I was introduced to him. He did
Martin,
Werewolf by Night.
You didn't know who that one was either. Leonardo Manco.
You didn't?
Okay.
Really?
Nope.
His stuff is amazing. Is he Spanish?
I think so.
Tons and tons of detail. He did a Werewolf by Night because they were also trying to revive Strange Tales. They did Man Thing and Werewolf by Night on the late 90s. Who did they have? The guy doing Starhenge, Liam Sharp. Liam Sharp was on Swamp Thing, and he was on Werewolf by Night. Those are some good-looking books. I don't know if they are collected, but just in terms of like artistic detail and artistic skill, they need to collect those. If they don't collect them, I might need to hunt those down so that I have them because they are really good-looking books. He might be the most talented guy in this section.
He can't be because I don't really know him.
He's
Let's
really,
go to
really
Ed
good.
McGuinness and that Fighting American. I love Ed McGuinness has that super cartoony style, but sometimes it just really works for me. Like that really works for me.
Yeah, he did the Wolverine Annual '96. That's when I know him from. But in his big run was with Joe Casey on Deadpool. That's where he kind of made his name.
With who?
Joe Casey or Joe Kelly?
Joe
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 Kelly.
Kelly. Sorry, I'm probably not the only one who's ever done that.
You are moron.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, John Cassidy, I like him too. Salvador LaRocca.
Salvador LaRocca, as relevant as ever. I mean, he's kicking butt. His stuff is great.
Yeah, he can pick and choose whatever he wants to do. at
Where'd
Marvel,
John
pretty much.
Cassidy go though?
Where did he go?
Yeah, I don't remember calling, or I don't recall seeing his name on anything recently.
I don't either.
I don't know. Maybe he's working in film,
Maybe.
doing storyboards. A lot of people do that. They go into storyboards, animation, video games, because unfortunately it pays better. A lot of times.
Boo.
Especially if we get some
Ladron.
Matrix.
Both Martin and I love
Hate
Ladron.
this guy.
I remember it was probably 1998 we were bashing Ladron.
I hate him. He ruins everything he touched. He
Why?
needs to be thrown in an industrial food processor.
I don't know what it is. It's like if Jack Kirby met Mobius, but like not in a nice way. I don't know. I appreciate his stuff more now. I was immature back then, but
It's still trash. You're wrong. You were right originally. Trash.
No, he did
Trash.
he did do stuff. But I don't know if I've ever intentionally bought anything he's done.
I've intentionally not bought things he's done.
Yeah. Interesting.
Sure, I
style.
have this whole run of this series. I will abandon it now. Thank you, sir.
Oh, you had all of Cable?
No.
I mean, it was an interesting progress report. So are these the
These are the 1997 talents. It must be.
Carlos Pacheco, R.I.P. Ian Churchill, he's probably still doing stuff with Image here and there. Or no, he's over at DC, I bet, because you got Bob Harris and all those guys.
What was the
Over at
last thing
DC.
Ian Churchill? I mean,
Something
I
for
feel
New 52,
like
I
I've
think.
seen
is
his name. I know he's
but
put out stuff recently.
He's
but I
probably
just-
inking people. Kerry Nord, there's a guy who is still doing excellent stuff.
Evan, what is your favorite Carrie Nord book?
Who knows who Carrie Nord
I couldn't.
is?
Yeah, I'd like. I know he didn't.
He was on Daredevil. He did Wolverine's flashback issue. And he did
More
another,
recently, he did that huge run on Conan for Dark Horse,
Yeah.
which was amazing.
Yeah. He also did another issue of Wolverine. He didn't just do the flashback issue.
I love that concept.
Flashback?
Yeah.
I don't understand why they don't do more stuff like that. Like if there's an era that you want to go to, why not just
Jump back. There.
just write a story for that era? What does it matter? It doesn't matter. It's all collected for the trade anyway. Jeffrey Moy, I've never heard of him.
What was his credit there?
The Legion. Lee Moder, I've heard of him. Another Legion superheroes. Jim Calafiore. Calafiore.
Mm-hmm.
He did Exiles.
Exiles, yep.
A ton of covers for Wizard. Steve Scrose, who would go on to do stuff for the Matrix, right after.
I was going to
this.
reference earlier, actually, when I started my Matrix comment, then I forgot to proceed
yeah.
with the
Yeah,
joke.
he did the storyboards for the Matrix. That's
Yep.
right. I forgot about
Yes,
that.
along
Yep,
with
he helped them
Jeff
steal.
Darrow.
He helped them steal from
Frank
Grant
Miller.
Morrison.
Oh, really?
That's what Grant Morrison claims, I believe.
Oh, maybe. Michael Turner is doing Witchblade.
Are there comments in the comment section?
No.
No,
Mine's-
because whenever we talk about comics, that's when things get real quiet on the show. Which is funny.
Because you said Nick made a comment, right?
He did. John Stossel, oddly enough, looks like a rip-off comic book villain.
Yeah, I don't have any of that in my feed at all. Oh well.
You commented on Teresa's last comment. Do you want to do some bullpen trivia?
Sure.
Okay, we don't have to.
Well, I was gonna just talk about Cataclysm for a minute.
Oh, talk about Cataclysm.
Batman Cataclysm. Anyone remember this?
Not really.
No.
Basically, it's a huge Batman. It's actually the start of a huge Batman crossover that ran through the whole Batman line in '98.
Precursor to No Man's
Yep.
Land?
Yep.
Yeah.
Gotham City is overdue for an earthquake, and seismologist Jolene Relazzo detects that a huge one is coming. City is unexpectedly hit with a massive earthquake. No one is prepared except for Wayne Industries, which has insisted for years that all of its buildings are designed to withstand an 8.5 Richter earthquake. Those buildings are still standing, which protects, all of our heroes. And then basically heroes, villains, lackeys, allies have to all come together to try and hold the city together. And lots of dark turns, but lots of positive stuff. It's leads up, like I said, to No Man's Land. They've used a lot of elements from this in the Batman films, specifically the last Nolan one and parts of the Batman this last year.
Jonathan Lego Man. I remember Cataclysm. I think I have it somewhere. Jonathan, was that Batman book any good? I feel like No Man's Land had some good elements to it. You're saying, Martin, you're saying yes.
There's an editor, assistant editor, I forget his name right now, Gorfunkel or something like that.
Simon and Garfunkel.
Gorf, I think, is how he assigned everything. He did a lot putting that together, as well as assembling the Birds of Prey that we know, and making that an extremely viable line. But yeah, it took your status quo. It's one of those stories where you take your status quo, destroy it all, and have the characters do these things that they've never done before.
I think the premise is very fun. I think that's a different, let's just blow up the city and kind of start over. And then
the issue's covers had a side, I don't know what you call it. The title Cataclysm basically was crumbling as the series went on each of these different books.
which is how they did Inferno, and I didn't realize
Realize
that
that
for
either.
like
You
30
don't.
years.
Yep.
That the Inferno logo that ran through those books, and that might have been 88. That might have been 35 years ago.
Yeah.
Slowly burns as the series progresses, and I didn't realize that for 30 years. I thought that was very clever. So
But yeah, so No Man's Land, I have not gone back and read No Man's Land because I'm terrified it will not hold up, but that was really one of my favorite, I think, Bat stories.
I wasn't a Bat guy, but I
Overall.
got into that. I thought that was kind of fun, where everybody had their piece of Gotham, and they were fighting for it. And good gimmick.
Which they kind of did in Dark Knight Rises a little teensy tiny little bit.
Did that lead into President Lex? Do you know, Jonathan?
Time frame
'Cause
seems
Lego
to
Man,
sit.
are you out
Because
there?
it was around 2000 that they did the President Lex thing, and I know what just happened there.
I don't know. One of these days, we'll teach Aaron how to use a microphone or how to position a microphone, but not today.
Just worried he's going to put an eye out or
I
something.
know. He's treating it like it's like a cable machine in a gym. He's
Can't afford the gym.
He's getting a full body workout right now.
That's right. You turned. I'm on a Peloton right now. You're actually not watching Twitch. You're watching a Peloton screen.
Jonathan, we need your help. Did that lead into President Lex? I feel like the time frame fits, but I don't.
I almost think that that was like a conclusion of like No Man's Land or something. So Cataclysm, gone. Got some questions for us, Evan? Some trivia?
Not really. Actually,
Oh.
this trivia isn't very good.
Okay.
Uh-oh.
I was trying to find like what's a good question here. Before Hal Jordan wigged out and massacred a plethora of Green Lanterns, what part of the DC universe was he assigned to safeguard?
What sector?
Was it the 5th Quadrant, Area 51, Division 101, Sector 2814?
Sector,
I
'cause
just
it's
think
the
it's a
only sector.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's got to be the right answer. I'm not even going to check that if it's correct.
Hal Jordan, my least favorite of all the Lanterns, but I really like this guy.
I was going to say you can buy it at the comic shop, but you
You
can't.
can't.
Michael
It's a
Ca-
Target.
Michael Kelly bought it
Michael
for you.
Kelly got it for me for Christmas, I guess, so they were a present because I had mentioned I liked him, and he saw that. So, Kyle Rayner.
Yeah, I like because my only connection to it really was the Justice League cartoon.
Oh,
So
John
I
Stewart.
like John Stewart. Yeah.
Yes, also a good Lantern, much better than Hal Jordan.
Here's just a softball one. What kind of animal does the wacky duo of Quantum and Woody have as a mascot?
Goat.
A goat.
Yes.
Loved that series. Christopher Priest again from Black Panther, doing his non-linear storytelling, probably at its finest there.
Jonathan Legman says Kyle Rayner. We know who Kyle Rayner is. You need to tell us if President Lex was the conclusion of Batman No Man's Land. That's what we need from you. Please.
Now,
Do it before the show ends.
do it.
According to Heroes Reborn continuity, what was the topic of discussion in the missing minutes of President Nixon's White House tape? A secret alliance between Tricky Dick and Dr. Doom, the use of Captain America in clandestine operations, the accidental detonation of a gamma bomb in Vietnam, some hot moments between the president and a budding young sportscaster by the name of Marvin Albert.
Wow, that's a really dated joke.
Yeah.
Um,
Everybody knows that Marv Albert, 1998, he was
Cap.
use of Captain America in clandestine operations. That sounds right to me, too. Yep, that's it.
Because I think Doom. I cheated there. I've read 6 issues of Heroes Reborn recently.
Oh, Jonathan Lego Man, we lost him.
Oh,
We lost Jonathan Lego Man.
Yeah, rest in peace.
R.I.P.
We'll in memoriam.
One believer left.
One believer.
One believer. Doesn't
we
sound
got-
as good.
We've got to edit the T-shirt design now.
Yep.
Jonathan, do we have permission to use your likeness on a T-shirt?
Yes, you do.
Oh, thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that.
You're
And-
welcome.
And we don't have to give you any money for it, right?
No, I'm good.
Okay, great.
Legally binding.
I'll even buy one.
Thank you. I think we're gonna do. I hate merchandise, but I think we're gonna do a Two Believers T-shirt just because it's funny, and I'd love to have it just be a like an outline of
Or we do Combo Man style between the two of them.
Aaron's wife and
No.
Jonathan Lego Man.
No. The concept is too difficult, and it would be too strange.
Come on, Terry with a fuller beard would be great.
Oh, these are too easy. They're like either they're really difficult
Oh,
or
really?
they're like in the first meeting with Galactus, what weapon did the Fantastic Four use to threaten the planet Devourer into leaving Earth? Yeah, I'm not even gonna,
Aaron?
Not even gonna read it.
The tiny anti-nullifier.
Close.
Close.
Ul-
Ultimate.
Ultimate
You just
yeah.
watched the cartoon last year. You should have this down.
Yeah, I know.
buddy.
I know. I did. I was messing around.
So these quizzes were in the back of all the wizards, and my mom #Stuff Mary Lou says I used to make her take these quizzes, and it was hilarious. I think we might have her on one day to do that again.
That'd be good.
Make me look good.
Aaron, this one's for you. Who infected Cable with the technovirus?
It's Apocalypse.
Was Apocalypse.
Everybody knows that.
That's an easy one. Was it an X Factor or was it an X Men?
I was probably X Factor,
Yeah, we think around the time.
but it was probably clarified in the Further Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, which I did buy. Not 1998. I believe that was earlier.
Who's the artist on that?
Gene Ha.
Yes.
That was the first Gene Ha I ever saw.
Yep. Then he did. Was it top 10 for America's Best
America's
Comics?
Best
Yeah.
Comics. Yeah, before what was it? Jim Lee. I don't know if.
Yeah.
Let's just say that he did.
Well, it's part of that happened in 1998. So
It's like you'll never have to work for DC again.
Mm-hmm.
Just stick with me. And then he sold Wildstorm to DC.
Oh, Martin, we discussed this one today. This is very funny.
Uh-oh.
After the whole Onslaught debacle, where did that rat bastard Bastion imprison mutant freak Professor Xavier? I didn't know.
Hulkbuster base.
I didn't know this because you brought up Hulkbuster base.
I wouldn't
and
have
was-
remembered if I didn't read the synopsis for the Hunt for Xavier, which came out in
Yeah,
1998.
get a little tingle in there. Oh boy, I don't know. We made it to 7 o'clock just
Okay,
barely.
bye.
Yeah. I think.
Just walk away. We're gonna walk off just like we walked onto this thing.
Oh man. But look at how productive I was. Look, here's
Yeah, I was trying to figure out who you were drawing because it looked like real people.
it's
Hey bud.
It's Todd
Hey,
McFarlane
bud.
and Peter David.
Hey bud. I don't know a Peter David catchphrase.
I wrote Hulk.
I wrote Hulk.
I wrote Hulk. And then we to follow up, I think this Thor drawing is even better.
This is I think
Even better. You have to better. Yes, it's much better than the last one.
Oh boy.
The world's saddest Thor before.
I like Chibi Hulk. He's kind of, or not Chibi Hulk, Chibi Thor. He's kind of fun. And we'll end with that. Yeah, so 1998.
What a year.
What a year.
podcast.
Superman turned red and blue that year as well,
Oh.
and they had to hunt for Xavier. And I think DC 1 million happened where they projected out what their 1 millionth issue would be for everything. But then we now know they'll never get to issue 1 million because everything relaunches every 25 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, and when it does, it'll be very representational of what the population of the world is actually like, and
White males.
hence be canceled immediately.
Yes.
Nope, it's just gonna be white males.
This is the part where you go, you've been listening.
You've been listening to The Comic Shop Does a Podcast. I'm your host, Aaron Z. Lee, and I was joined by Evan Coy.
I'm Martin Kenny.
No, we're all mixing it up.
I'm Evan Coy. Happy birthday, Tootsie.
Happy birthday, Tootsie, and my sister.
Okay, goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
Sorry,
Oh, they're coming to arrest us.
sorry about that.